Recognizes Representative Levin for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's going to be back in the Natural Resources Committee room. I couldn't get enough of natural resources. I had to come back. Good to see my friend Chairman Westerman as well. Sorry to be not in the conversations after 6 years on the committee. I can tell all the new folks this is a great committee. You're going to have a lot of good conversations and hopefully find some common ground. I have the great honor to represent California's 49th Congressional District in Southern California, 50 miles of beautiful coastline in Orange and San Diego counties. I'm biased, but I think it's the most beautiful district in the United States. Come visit anytime. And I think you all know that our economy relies very heavily on the vitality of the coast, of our beaches, our marine life, and all the ocean-dependent businesses that drive tourism and other activities. It's tens of thousands of local jobs and billions of dollars of economic activity in Orange County, where I live, and in San Diego County. And we know firsthand the real risks that offshore drilling poses to our community. And it's not theoretical. Just a few years ago, 126,000 gallon spill from a leaking pipeline covered an area larger than many cities, a very large area with oil. I remember being on a plane looking at it all and then going and seeing fish and birds and marine life just dead on the coasts of Orange County. That's why it's, I think, worth mentioning in this discussion today that the President and many here want to expand offshore drilling everywhere, and that includes potentially on the coast of Southern California. And I just want to remind my colleagues that a majority of the people that I serve, a wide majority, Republican elected leaders, Democratic elected leaders, cities that are 3-2 and 4-1, Republican cities, nobody really wants more drill rigs off the coast of Southern California. With that, I'll turn to my questions, and I'll start with Ms. Howell. The U.S. is already the #1 producer of oil and gas in the world. At this point, the more oil we produce domestically, the more we export rather than domestically consume. I hear the argument a lot that we should be producing more to solidify our own energy security, energy dominance. By the way, I want energy dominance too. I'll get to that later. But then at the same time, I hear that we want to double down on LNG exports. But it seems like simple math to me. The more you export, the less you have for domestic consumption. And some of the data I've seen from the Department of Energy supports that. They say that unconstrained exports of LNG would increase wholesale domestic natural gas prices by over 30%, translating to an increase in costs for the average American household by well over $100 per year. So, Ms. Howell, can you opine on that and discuss what you understand to be the impact of unrestrained LNG export?
Well, I think you certainly hit the nail on the head. Oil and gas is a limited, non-renewable resource. The more you produce and export, the less you have for your own needs domestically. Interestingly, no one has commented about the source of the LNG. This liquefied natural gas, the original natural gas, primarily comes from onshore. It is not that, there's not that much gas being drilled offshore right now. And to think that we are using our onshore supplies, cheaper, easier to oversee, easier to produce, easier to drill, that the best stuff we have, we would prefer to get rid of than to other countries than to keep for our own future needs, I think is baffling. I'm also surprised that we're not talking about why it's so urgent that we expand offshore drilling. What's the why? We are the world's largest producer of oil and gas. Why in the world would we want to drill up those reserves now when they're worth much more to us down the road?
I appreciate your comments, and I would just add that what could be derived from Southern California is such a drop in the bucket compared to the overall picture that, given the environmental harm, the environmental risk, that's why it's overwhelmingly opposed by my local Republican and Democratic elected officials. I'll just close by saying it's great to be back in the room. I hope to come back from time to time. We all want energy dominance. I want to see clean energy dominance. Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back.
Representative Levin, you're always welcome in this community, and I appreciate your comments.